A stranger texted every parent at once. Nobody asked questions. Everyone ran. A Tuesday afternoon, I was in the middle of a conference call when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Group chat. 30 parents I'd never texted before. Get your kids from Sunshine Academy right now. Don't ask questions inside. Just get them. Act normal. I almost dismissed it as spam. Then the responses started flooding in. Leaving now. On my way. Someone called the parents without phones. I stood up from my desk. My manager looked at me from across the room. My daughter's daycare. Something's wrong. I didn't wait for a response. Here's what you need to understand about what was waiting for me inside. 6 weeks earlier, Sunshine Academy had hired a new assistant teacher. His name on the application was Thomas Beale. Clean background check. Glowing references. Former employer confirmed he'd worked there 2 years without incident. The kids loved him immediately. He did voices during story time. Remembered every child's favorite color. Learned all our names within the first week, which was sweet, we all thought. He's so good with them. The director had said at the welcome meeting, he was particularly attentive to the children of single mothers. I remember thinking that was kind. I was wrong. I pulled into the parking lot at 2:47 p.m. What I saw stopped me cold. 20 cars abandoned at wrong angles. Doors hanging open on minivans. Parents moving fast, not running, but the kind of urgent walking that is almost running. Carrying children out and loading them into cars in silence. The silence was the thing that got me. No chatting. No weekend plans. No kids showing off drawings. Just car door slamming and engine starting. I went in. Thomas was in the reading corner, cross-legged on the floor, doing character voices from a picture book to the 4 remaining children. Calm, warm, completely unbothered by the mass. Exodus happening around him. Mommy, my daughter Lexi jumped up. Hey baby, early day today. Thomas looked up with that smile. That easy, pleasant smile I had seen every single morning for 6 weeks. Lots of early pickups. Must be something going around. I signed the sheet. 15 names crossed out in the last 12 minutes. My hand was shaking and I couldn't explain why. Just something deep and animal telling me to grab Lexi and go. Lexi's really something special. You must be so proud. Single parenting is hard. If you ever need someone to watch her, we're fine. Thank you. I picked up Lexi and walked out without looking back. In the parking lot, a woman named Diane was leaning against her car crying without sound. Diane, what is going on? She showed me her phone. A Facebook post. Shared 40 minutes ago by someone who worked at the county courthouse. A warning notice with a photo. A Facebook post shared 40 minutes ago by someone who worked at the county courthouse. A warning notice with a photo. Kevin Marsh released 8 weeks ago. Convicted 2017 aggravated assault. Known to seek employment near schools and daycares under the name Thomas Beale. The photo was him. Same warm eyes, same easy smile. Same man who had just told me single. Parenting is hard and offered to watch my daughter. What did he do? Diane's voice dropped. He worked at a daycare in Fairfield. There was a single mother. He learned her schedule. Her jogging route, her parking spot. One night he waited for her outside. She survived, barely. I turned back toward the building. Through the window I could still see him, reading to the last few children, making one of them laugh. By the time the police arrived, there were 12 of us in that parking lot and the details. Coming out were making everyone sick. A mother named Priya. He asked Anaya which of her friends had dads who didn't live at home. I thought he was just making conversation. A father named Jerome. He knew my ex-wife's new address. I never told him that. Nobody told him that. When the officers brought Thomas out in handcuffs, he wasn't fighting. He was smiling. He turned and looked directly at me and winked. What they found in his car took 4 officers the rest of the afternoon to go through. Journals, detailed, methodical, organized journals. 1 section per family. Schedules, license plates, apartment numbers, gym routines. My section was 41 pages. My jogging route, my Friday nights, my apartment number, my license plate, photos of me he had taken secretly at drop-off and pickup. Tonight had been circled in red. I had been going to text him that afternoon to confirm he could watch Lexi this weekend. I was tired. I needed a break. He had seemed so kind. I keep thinking about that text I never sent. The message that started everything had come from a woman named Sandra. She had a cousin who worked at the courthouse. The cousin had been scrolling Facebook on her lunch break, seen the warning notice, recognized his face from Sandra's pickup photos on Instagram, and called her immediately. Sandra had 7 minutes between that call and the end of the school day. She typed the message, pulled numbers from the parent directory, and hit send from an unknown number in case he had access to the contact list. 40 families got that text. 40 parents dropped everything. 1 woman's lunch break. 1 Facebook scroll. 1 unknown number. That is what stood between me and becoming the next name in those journals. Thomas Beale, Kevin Marsh, received 14 months for parole violation. 14 months. The system failed every single one of us. A background check under a legal name. References no one questioned. A man with a documented history of predatory violence working alone with children. Within 8 weeks of release. 14 months for what he had planned for that. Tuesday night is not justice. It's a countdown. The only thing that worked was 1 woman, 1 phone, and 40 parents who didn't ask questions. Sometimes the system doesn't save you. Sometimes it's a stranger's text at 2:30 in the afternoon. And sometimes the person telling you this story was the one whose name was circled in red.